Hi guys, it's Fat Petrolhead here, and today we discuss how often should you change engine oil to prolong the engine life. The quick and the right answer to this question is as often as you can afford, because you cannot make it worth changing oil too often. However, of course, we want to find the right balance to make it enough frequent to prolong the engine life and also not to spend hell a lot of money and time on it. Let's keep in mind that all owners drive their car differently, and we cannot compare those cars that, for example, spend 80% of their time in the traffic jams and those that drive mostly highways. So the optimal period between changing engine oil shouldn't be measured in kilometers or miles. It should be measured in engine hours. And if you don't use your car in any conditions close to critical ones, something like off-roading or track days, then the optimal range of engine working hours would be about 200 hours for naturally aspirated engines and about 150 hours for turbocharged. Not every car and not every model has this engine hours calculator. However, you don't really need it. All you need to do is to find your average speed in miles per hour or in kilometers per hour and multiply it by 200 or 150, and you would get just the mileage. For example, on my cars I have the average speed of about 50 kilometers per hour, and on the Jeep with naturally aspirated engine I change engine oil every 10,000 kilometers, and on BMW with turbocharged engine every 7,500 kilometers. But what happens if you change engine oil less regular? So it really depends on the situation, because for example, if you have a new car and you are going to use it for several years and approximately 100,000 kilometers, then you can just follow manufacturer's recommendations and just change engine oil every 10 or 15,000 kilometers. On almost any engine and any model you wouldn't have any problems within a warranty period. However, if you are going to use car for 7-10 years or you have a used car, then of course these intervals would influence your engine lifespan. Usually, if you increase the engine oil change interval by about 50%, then you decrease the possible resource of your engine by 20-30%. And that's a huge amount, because for example, if your car had a resource of about 200,000 kilometers, with the intervals of 15,000 kilometers instead of 10,000, you would get a resource of only 150,000. So I would of course prefer to service engine more often and of course spend a little bit more money on it, however, to be sure that the car will last longer. But what about long life engine oil? Because there are some oils that should last until 30,000 kilometers and maybe even more. And yes, they are really more resistant and they can last longer, that's true according to any independent tests. However, still, I wouldn't go for changing engine oil less regular than 15,000 kilometers, even with this long life engine oil. The thing is that even in these independent tests, closer to 30,000 kilometers mileage, oil decrease in quality dramatically and doesn't lubricate so well, also absorb some materials, so I wouldn't risk my car just to change engine oil not so frequent. Especially with modern engines with high power output. You know, there is a very interesting theory that Toyota cars are well known all around the world for being extremely reliable just because they have less intervals of changing oil. For example, on some markets they have 10,000 kilometers instead of standard 15,000. Of course, this is just a legend or myth, however, I see a lot of truth in this, because of course Toyota is reliable not only because of frequent oil change, however, of course, it affects it long term. By the way guys, please press the like button if you enjoy watching this video and subscribe for more. It supports channel a lot. But what about changing engine oil every year? Because usually in your maintenance requirements you would find something like change it every 15,000 kilometers or every 12 months. I would say that if you don't drive a lot and your average yearly mileage is about 5,000 kilometers, then there would be nothing critical if you would change your engine oil after 1 year and 2 months. Of course, only if your car is out of the warranty already, because if something would be broken, then it would be critical that you serviced your car just according to manufacturer's recommendations. However, you should keep in mind that if your car is not in the everyday use and you use it, for example, only on weekends or just once a month, then some dirt is stuck in some parts of your engine, and also engine oil is absorbing some materials, and of course you should still change it quite often. And okay, maybe not once a year, but 1.5 years I would say is a max. I wish you all guys to maintain your cars properly, and then they would be extremely reliable. Thank you and see you soon. Alright, now if you click one of these 2 videos, we already have a maintenance guides about transmission and cooling system.